Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Hellcat series. Just kind of want to go over a few things that I've accomplished since the last video on this build. And as you can see, I've assembled both the starboard and port side wings on this assembly. Had to be very careful because, you know, like I said, the moving part mechanisms are made out of plastic with the pins and the locking pins and whatnot. So I had to be very careful when I glued these parts together for the wings, and without breaking them, because I do want to, when all is said and done, to be able to move these wings at any given time. That was the whole reason for me buying this kit, just because I thought it was pretty neat. So anyways, we were now at our painting stage, and basically I went with a Tamiya rattle can spray of the TS-17 gloss aluminum, which is that right there. Oops, let me turn around. Okay, so that's what I used for the first kind of base coat over the primer overall, and just spray painted the whole plane that way. Once I let that dry, I then actually went to my hobby store and picked up another rattle can of some Tamiya. This one's called Navy Blue, you know, U.S. Navy Blue. And of course, this was the, let me show you this, it's AS-8. It is made for, they say, for aircraft. So that's what I kind of chose. It was in between a light, you know, a kind of a lighter blue color, and of course the glossy blue that everybody was talking about. So I figured this was a happy medium between the two, because well, that's just kind of how I wanted it to get a nice even coating. So I chose to spray it out with a rattle can. So once that was done, then I went ahead and this, well, let me back up. I did mask everything off that I didn't want to have painted, which was the propeller area, and I actually used some cling wrap, saran wrap, and went around the propellers with that, and then I taped up to hold the cling wrap together. And behind that, I also put some wet paper towels inside the engine itself to protect from any overspray. And I did the same thing with the cockpit. You know, wet paper toweled it and just kind of put a couple pieces of tape just to kind of hold it in place. And then I did all the initial painting for the aluminum and the navy blue. And then once that was all dried and everything, of course I put some little touches with the navigation lights with the green and the red. And since I've never done any kind of weathering before, this would be my first time to start the initial process of weathering. I have my trials and errors, but this is kind of what I came up with right now. I actually took one of those salon type of sanding tongue blade things, and I actually kind of buffed up the plane on the top of the wings, because as you know, this is a aircraft borne carrier, or sorry, aircraft based carrier plane. So you have to think it was flown in the Pacific theater on an aircraft, so you had to think about the salt and the sun. So it'll tend to have a lot of fading on the top part of the wings, more so than the underside. So it's kind of hard to tell from the camera angles here, but I did buff it up and everything. It does have some future on it right now, so that's why it's a little glossy. But I did do some fading. Another thing that I did for the initial weathering was to add some chrome silver to the where the folding wings come apart, because over time with them folding back and forth, it's going to wear and tear on the paint. So I kind of put a little dab of the chrome silver on there to give it a sense of the paint chipping away. And as far as the 50 caliber guns and the 20 millimeter, I went ahead and put some bronze and copper on those, and then I gave the sense that it was in combat, so it's got some of the gunpowder residue on the wings themselves. Let me see if I can kind of show that to you there. So that was that. And the other subtle touch I went with, if you can see it, is where the exhaust fumes are coming out. I airbrushed that all in as well with some first NATO black Tamiya, and then some red brown to give that kind of rusty looking color. So like I said, it was all airbrushed there. So there's one on each side of the plane. Let me kind of turn this around, I'll show you the other side. So there's the other part there, and of course the underbelly. We have two more exhausts. If I can see this in the light. So hopefully I'll pick it up. But just to give the sense that it's been in action for quite a bit. I also painted up some of the landing lights underneath. The instructions show green, red, and amber for that. So, and then of course there's the tissue paper that I used to cover the landing gear while I was painting the underside as well. And I just kind of, since the mechanics work on the cows, I gave it a little bit of some silver coating, because hands are on there and pulling the rivets off and stuff like that, or to disassemble the cow to work on the engine. So just kind of give that look like it's worn. But this is kind of my initial weathering. I may do a little bit more chipping or whatnot, but since this is my first time weathering, I just kind of wanted to go easy on the first time around. Picking up a lot of tips from other fellow YouTubers, and trying to make some of it my own. So there you go. This is where I'm at this stage. Like I said, I gave it an overall future wash, and on both top and bottom, and let that sit for a day. Also, just to kind of give some hint of some chipping here. I don't know if I'll pick it up. Let me light here. But on the top part there, I actually used some of my 4x4 gauze, folded it over and sprayed through the gauze, which left kind of little stipple effects of some illusion of chipping around the top part of the fuselage. So, and it's a little wear and tear on the edges of the wing too. But so this is where we're at here on the stage of the game, and like I said, as far as the decals will be eventually going on there. The kit came with two different options for the decals. One was for the USS Essex, and the other one was for the USS Randolph. But I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like to go by the decals that I get or the cover art on the box. So I did a little research, and what I'll be doing is doing some of my own decal work. I came across one that it's a white 71. It was flown by a U.S. Navy pilot, lieutenant, back in April 1944. It was part of the squadron VF-20. They were called the Jokers. And the one thing I liked about him was that I wanted to incorporate it on a different aircraft carrier. As we all know, I like Star Trek, so I wanted to have Hellcat that was actually serviced on the USS Enterprise, or as they would call it, as the Big E. So so this is what I'm going to go with. So there'll be different decals on there, and we'll kind of go from there. The other thing that I did was to work on the ordnance, I guess you want to call it. So here's one of the bombs, and of course I started off with the U.S. Navy blue, and then I airbrushed some copper on there, kind of give it a different look and feel to it. Maybe some little rust on there, but that's one of the bombs there that I took care of. And of course then I did the drop tank as well. So you can see here I kind of scuffed it up a little bit, put a little bit of that copper color to give it a little two-tone, three-tone color, just a little wear and tear, which is going to be glued underneath the undercarriage of the Hellcat. So this is my, like I said, my first attempt at weathering. So I hope it turns out good. Like I said, I'll probably be tweaking it a little bit, but this is where we're at right now. So appreciate you watching and subscribing, and we'll give it a quick little 360 here. And like I said, until next time, it might end up being like decals with the final, like a final video with the decals and everything on there, but we'll see. But this is where we're at in this stage. And once again, thank you, and hope everybody's having a good day, and we'll catch you on the next video.